Your calendar's packed, your to-do list is endless, and somehow you still feel behind? You don't need another productivity app. You just need to use the one you already have. In today's video, I will show you how to turn Apple Calendar into a calm, simple, and burnout-free system that actually helps you stay focused without the chaos. So I'm going to be showing you how to set up categories. Now, this is where your organized life actually begins, okay? So the first thing we are going to do when you open your Apple Calendar, this is usually the spread that you see. You are going to see it by either month, you can view by month, week, or day. Now, as a recommendation, if you're going to be setting up your calendar for simple, you want to not feel too overwhelmed, I would advise if it makes a difference for you, you can either choose your week view where you see your calendar per week, or you can actually look at your calendar in the day view so you can focus on that day. All right. Now, if you want to see your overall calendar to see what you have going on for the entire month, just to have an overview, you can do so, but it's more or less based on preference and how you tend to feel when you look at something. You can simplify it or you can watch it at a over. So in this case, I will leave it at week, okay? And then on the top left, you have your button there that is currently highlighted. This gives you the option to see all your calendars. Once you import all of your Google Workspace calendars into your Apple Calendar, you are able to see all of those appointments that you have connected. Now, if you do not know how to do this, what you simply do, you come out of here. We're going to go over into settings, right? We're going to come all the way down to apps, right? And then we are going to go into mail. When you tap on mail, you see to the top you have mail accounts. You're going to hit on mail accounts, and then you would simply click on add account, and then you would choose which account you want to add, whether it's your Google, if it's a Google, if it's iCloud, if it's Yahoo, Outlook, or whatever. That's how you would import your other calendars into Apple Calendar. Once you're finished doing that, the next thing you're going to do is create categories. This is where you're actually creating dedicated calendars for every major part of your life and business. So you can do one for life, you can do one for business, but this is where the foundation of keeping things simple and start with your creating that productivity muscle starts from having the foundation of categories. So here is what I use. So if I go into iCloud, this is the categories I use. I have a calendar for personal. I have a calendar for business, all business related stuff. I put it on that calendar. If I have collaborations, they go on there. If relates to content planning where I'm brainstorming or I am actually spending focused time on planning content, it goes on the here. Anything relating to client work, I have a calendar for that. I have a calendar for when I have to batch record or do specialized content recording. And then I have a calendar for editing my content. Now, how do you actually set this up? To the bottom left, you see the add calendar option. So you're going to tap on that and then you're going to click on add calendar. And then you're going to put in your calendar name. In this case, I am going to put in, as an example, I can choose if I want this in my iCloud account or if I want it in the local account. So I'm going to leave it on iCloud because I want to be able to access this calendar throughout all my Apple devices. Okay. The next thing you can do, you can actually share a calendar with another person. Let's say you have a team member or you're doing collaborative work and you want to share that calendar with a team member, you can do so in the shared with section. You can also change your color. So you can either do the default colors that they have there, or you can go into custom and you can literally play around with the various color schemes and just choose a color that represents that specific calendar. Now, the color is going to be helpful because later on, when we're going to do time blocking, you'll see how important that color actually comes in. Then you can have event notifications or alerts turned on. So anything where you're scheduling based on a calendar, you can let Apple calendars remind you to notify you when that event is coming up, maybe 5 minutes before or when it's ended, right? So once you have all the information here set up, right, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to tap on done, all right, and notice that calendar is added. Now, if I turn on all the other ones that I have, you would see my calendar spread. But I just wanted to keep it simple. So for this purpose of this exercise, when you create these calendars, it literally gives you a focus workflow at a glance. So you wouldn't be asking yourself, oh, what's this for? This is why the colors are so important, because you can commit to memory. Okay, when I see the color red, I know it's relating to this. When I see the color purple, I know what it relates to this. I want you to think of these calendars as folders for your time. So every time you need to get something done, you're actually putting it in that container or that folder. Now, what I have done, because I already have some of them already listed, simply you would just check to turn it on or turn it off. For example, if I were to turn on business, you would see that I had an admin day, right? If I turn it off, and I'm just going to go to another week, all right? So I can have business turn on. I can turn on personal, collaboration. So as you turn them on, you would see the tick appearing, all right? And based on what you have scheduled, it actually comes up, all right? So I'm just gonna do personal. I'm gonna take off all the others for now, just for the example of today's exercise. All right. Now, the next thing I want you to do is start to build a weekly template. Apart from the aesthetics and all the things in terms of colors, what you want to do is you want to time block your reoccurring events. These are things that you do day in or every single day or every single week. You want to color block it. So, for example, if you're that person that you have a morning routine or an evening routine, I want you to put it on your calendar. So, for example, how do you actually do this? So, on your iPad, let's say, for example, you start your day at 5 a.m. You're going to simply tap, all right, bring this down to 5 a.m. And then I'm going to call this my morning routine, right? So, my morning routine might be something like, okay, this is not business. I know it's going to be personal. And I would say it's going to be from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. Or if I want, I can say from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. is more or less my personal time. When I'm doing devotion, what I'm doing, just have a specific routine that I do every morning that doesn't relate to business. I'm literally going to put it on my calendar. All right. Now, I can also state that this is a recurring task. So where you have repeat, you have never, you're going to tap there. And then you can simply put in custom, and you can say this is a weekly task. And then you choose the days in which you do that specific routine. All right. So I want to track this from Monday to Friday. Saturday and Sunday is more of my time, my flexible time outside of business. All right. Right. So the next thing I said that it repeats every day, every weekday. It's going to be my personal calendar. And I also may want to actually have a reminder before or after that specific event or at the time of the event. All right. Because this is a routine, I'm going to leave it. So I'm going to tap on add. And what you notice that every day of that week, notice that routine is set there. If I switch to the other week, it's in there as well. This is one way in which you can start time blocking your week using recurring events. So if you have a morning routine, you do so. Let's say, for example, you have Fridays is more or less a day where you do light work or you may do your admin work. Let's say you have a specific day you do admin work or a specific day you do content planning. You can also time block that in. So, what we're going to do, I'm going to do another one. I'm going to tap, and I'm using my iPad for these illustrations. So, I'm going to tap again. I'm going to call this, let's do content planning. And notice as I'm typing, because it's things that I do on a frequent basis, all right, notice it's coming up. So I am going to state that content planning I usually do every week. Okay, so there I have my content planning. It's going to be taking place every single week on a Tuesday. So if I swipe, it's already there for next Tuesday. And as I go over the weeks, notice it's there. All right. So this is a great way in you starting to build your weekly templates. And this is a simple structure that you can follow. And as a foundation, you can build upon that. Now, when it comes, one of the things I want you to remember when it comes to time blocking is to also not overblock in a sense that you are putting things back to back. You need to give yourself space each day to breathe between different tasks that may need to get done. And also, if you have, give yourself time to just breathe and relax before you jump into your next task. That's the most important thing with regards to time blocking. All right. Now, when you show up for the same task every week at the same time, you are literally building a rhythm, and that reduces decision fatigue. And so you will not feel overwhelmed, but you're also staying focused to getting a specific task done. And more importantly, you are developing a muscle with regards to being productive. Now, you can also use Siri to set your calendar events as well. So if I were, and because I have a lot of Apple devices, even if I speak it out, she is literally going to she's literally going to be activated, but I just want to be able to show you how it's done. So there are two ways in which you can literally add your events into your calendar. So to the top left, I can hit the plus sign and I can add an event, or I can use simply add a reminder. And Apple Reminders is a task manager, and I have a full video on how you can set up your Apple Reminders. So I'm gonna switch over to event, and I can, with my little keyboard open, notice I have the icon there for the mic. So I can say set appointment for today, right? So that's one way in which you can use natural language input. Now, if there is an appointment that is not scheduled, let's say you have clients booking your time. The importance of you having these time blocks is going to be super important, because let's say, for example, you do content planning between 8:30 to 10:30 on a Tuesday, but you may take client calls. This will show that you're busy between that time. But if you start taking client calls at, let's say, 9:30, you give yourself an hour to just get into the rhythm of dealing with clients. This is going to be super helpful for you. The next thing is that there are two ways in which you can actually add appointments on your calendar. You can let Siri help you, or you can simply hit the plus sign to the top left and you can type in your appointment. So you can say an appointment, all right, if whether it's a doctor's appointment or whatever. In this case, I'm going to just use appointment. I am going to say this is going to be on, let's say, the 25th, maybe at 10 a.m. And it's going to be 10 to 12. So I might be out of the office. I may need it to say might be a business appointment. I want to be able to get an alert an hour before. I can add a second alert and say maybe at the time of the event. and then I hit on add, right? And there I have the appointment added to the calendar. All right. So this is one way. The other way is using Siri. So what I can do, I can say, hey Siri, set appointment for April 23rd at 11 a.m. Call the appointment client call. All right. And notice it goes in there automatically. And that is using hands free. I didn't have to do anything. I could have say, hey, and then put the command, use natural language input as well as Siri. And again, she's activated. And so she would be able to help you automatically add your appointments instead of you doing it manually. Now, this is one that is very much underrated. A lot of persons don't use Siri. So this saves time, especially when you're either doing a mid scroll or you are in the mid of a task, or you just remember something and you want to put it on your calendar very quickly. Utilize the AI that is available to you to help you with automatically adding and setting up an appointment for you. The other thing is you can add time to leave alerts. Is another underrated feature. Whereas if you have an appointment at a specific location, let's say this appointment that I have on the Friday, I can literally have the location of where it is. I can have what is called a travel time, how long it's going to actually take me to get to that specific location. This is going to be very important. So let's say, for example, I add a location, and in this case, I'm going to put in a location. Let's just say it's somewhere here. So once you put in your location and you say, well, okay, it's going to take me, the travel time based on my location is either 10 minutes. I can literally say, well, okay, based on my location, all right? And this is literally tracking from my phone, all right? Once that is in, what it's going to do, it's going to give me an alert at the start of travel time. So it could be at the start of travel time or 1 hour before travel time. I can literally choose when I want it to be reminded. I can say 10 minutes before. Underrated feature that a lot of persons do not use with regards to their appointments on the Apple Calendar. You can add the time to leave alerts. And this is a good way for you to always be on time for your appointments, whether it's a business appointment, whether it's a personal appointment. Develop that habit of not being late, but being on time. You want to value not only people valuing your time, but you want to also value other people's time. The other part is the integration of Apple Reminders. Reminders is my task manager, and that allows me to execute. And so there is an option where you can bring in your reminders into your important reminders can literally show on your calendar. So on the left hand side where you have other, I'm going to tap there, and where you have schedule reminders, I'm going to literally turn that on. And then the next thing I'm going to show you is how you can you can literally add your reminders from the top left, or you can split your view, open your reminders, right? And you can literally drag on what you want to do. So you may have a series of tasks that you may either be priority tasks or you may have ongoing tasks. So in this case, if it's an ongoing task, all right, so I can drag it from here and I can literally put it on to one of my any day at a specific time. And notice on the left hand side, it's changing between 8:15, 8:30, or 8:45. I say 8:15. All right, that is something, and I'm going to tap on add. All right, so I can either turn it into an appointment, or I could have left it as a reminder as well. So that's another way in which you can take your tasks out from your task list and bring it and turn it into a schedule event where you need to get it completed. All right. Now, because the color is not business, it's actually content that I need to record. I will literally turn that on and I will actually turn on content recording. Right. Okay. So that is different ways and bonus features that you can actually use with regards to um Apple reminders. Now, the other thing, there are other features that a lot of persons don't use is that you do have other what they call delegate calendars. So if you work with a team and maybe you're working with your virtual assistant or you're working with another creator and you guys do a lot of collaboration content and you need to be able to see each other's schedule and how you can do your collaborative work, you can click on delegate calendars. And usually the accounts that actually support delegated calendars is Gmail or Google. And so you can simply choose one, you can add a person. All right. And it will go through your contact list. And so once you grant access to that person, they are now able to have access to your calendar. And this will be good for collabs and team planning and all of the things. All right. Now, Siri would be your personal assistant. All right. She would be your personal assistant when it comes to scheduling your actual calendar. And that is basically it, keeping it very simple, very clean, and so it's not too overwhelming. Again, the techniques of time blocking is very important with regards to your Apple Calendar. And that's it. You just turned your Apple Calendar into a calm, organized productivity hub, and you don't have to download another new app. When your calendar reflects your real life and when you're most creative and energetic, and you're not focused on the aesthetics, but you're actually focused on the system that actually supports you, this is where your productivity level actually rise, and also you're able to execute at a higher rate. You're not just managing your time, but you are actually creating a space for focus, creativity, and rest. And if you need my entire productivity system of how I'm able to plan, organize, and create content without burnout, you can grab your Creator Flow Kit. The link is in the description below. And check out this video on how you can capture and organize your content using Apple Shortcuts and Notion.